And with that, let us stand now as we sing our opening.
But you get Barbara next week, so please consider that a teacher. Looking forward to that. Please join me in the call to worship. God has gathered us to this place,
where we hear those stories to show us what the kingdom of God is like.
God summons us to this place,
where we can learn how to serve our God without reservation or hesitation.
And God will send us from this place
to tell others of God's hopes and dreams, so they too can choose to follow God.
Please be seated. Please join me in prayer. Our dear God, thank you for gathering us together today from near and far, virtual and in person, to worship you, to hear your word, to gain strength and wisdom. As we worship today in humbleness and adoration, help us to hold the hands of one another without reservation or hesitation, to tell others of God's hopes and dreams, to lean on our families and friends and neighbors and church and not go it alone, to be fun and joyful when we need to be, and to be sad when we need to be. And though sheer selfish power seems so often to triumph over justice, help us to be our piece of your whole, to discern the right and to do it, to be a presence for hope, joy, truth, and justice for those who do not know such things, to be your hands and feet and voice in a world that needs comforting love, to feel that comforting love ourselves in times of turmoil, and to worship you with exuberant joy in heart and mind and voice today. Amen. Well, the Bible has, as you know, people at their very best and at their very worst. And today's Bible story contains, I will warn you, among many things, an appalling example of the exercise of utterly corrupt power. The death of John the Baptist. Here now from the Gospel of Mark, chapter 6. King Herod heard of it, for Jesus' name had become known. Some were saying, John the Baptizer has been raised from the dead, and for this reason these powers are at work in him. But others said, it is Elijah. And others said, it is a prophet, like the prophets of old. But when Herod heard of it, he said, John, whom I beheaded, has been raised. For Herod himself had sent men who arrested John, bound him, and put him in prison on account of Herodias, his brother Philip's wife, because Herod had married her. For John had been telling Herod, it is not lawful for you to have your brother's wife. And Herodias had a grudge against him and wanted to kill him. But she could not, for Herod feared John, knowing that he was a righteous and holy man, and he protected him. When he heard him, he was greatly perplexed, and yet he liked to listen to him. But an opportunity came when Herod, on his birthday, gave a banquet for his courtiers and officers and for the leaders of Galilee. And when his daughter Herodias came in and danced, she pleased Herod and his guests, and the king said to the girl, ask me for whatever you wish, and I will give it. And he swore to her, whatever you ask of me, I will give you, even half my kingdom. And she went out and said to her mother, what should I ask her for? And she replied, the head of John the Baptizer. Immediately she rushed back to the king and requested, I want you to give me at once the head of John the Baptist on a platter. The king was deeply grieved, yet out of regard for his oaths and for the guests, he did not want to refuse her. Immediately the king sent a soldier of the guard with his orders to bring John's head. He went and beheaded him in prison, brought his head on a platter, and gave it to the girl. Then the girl gave it to her mother. And when his disciples heard about it, they came and they took his body and laid it in a tomb. May God grant us understanding of his word.
We're going to do something a little bit different this morning and change the order of service in a way that we usually don't. And though theologically we understand that the offering is a response to what we have just heard, this morning we're going to offer it as a response to this gathering together and what we are yet to hear. This is also a time, if you have a connection card, a prayer concern, or anything, any information that you would like to share with me or the leaders of the church, you can put it in the plates as they are passed. We thank our special music for being with us here this morning. I met him yesterday on the church hike, which if you missed was a really good time, and we'll have to do it again. So we're glad to have this time together this morning, and our deacons will now come forward and receive the offering. recall with me back to maybe when you were a kid, or your kids were kids, or maybe your grandkids, or maybe you were babysitting for a friend.